The grand hall of the alien king glowed like a second sun. Tall crystal pillars rose into the sky, shining with blue fire. Thousands of aliens stood in silence on both sides of the room as a single human walked forward. His name was Aaron, and every step he took echoed loudly across the smooth stone floor. He had come to receive a reward, something every warrior in the galaxy dreamed of. But he looked strangely calm, almost distant, as if his mind was somewhere else. The alien king, a towering figure with golden armor and 4 shining eyes, raised his staff. A ring of light spread outward, and the hall turned silent. He spoke in a powerful voice that shook the walls. "Human Aaron, you saved this kingdom from the beast that threatened our borders. You saved thousands of my people. Today I offer you anything your heart desires." A roar of approval rose from the crowd. Treasure carts rolled in from the side doors, mountains of gold, alien gems, starstones, and ancient weapons. Each one was priceless. The aliens watched Aaron closely. They expected him to ask for the gold, or land, or even a place among the alien nobility. But Aaron's eyes were not on the treasure. From the moment he entered the hall, his attention had drifted toward the dark corner behind the king's throne. Something was there. Someone. A girl. She sat on the cold floor, chained by glowing metal that wrapped around her wrists, ankles, and throat. Dust covered her long hair. Her skin looked pale, almost transparent, as if she had not seen real sunlight in years. And her eyes, they were empty, quiet, and frighteningly still. No one looked at her. No one spoke her name. It was as if she did not exist. But Aaron saw her. Every time the king spoke, Aaron felt her presence. She did not move, yet he felt as if she were silently calling out to him. Something in his chest tightened, like an instinct he could not explain. King finally turned toward Aaron and smiled. "Tell me, human, what do you choose? Wealth? Power? My royal favor?" Whispers spread across the hall. All eyes focused on the human. Aaron raised his hand, slowly, but he did not point at the gold. He did not point at the weapons. He did not point at the throne. He pointed at the girl. The hall froze. Every alien stiffened. Some gasped. Others stepped back in fear. Even the king's expression changed. His 4 eyes widened, and the air around him turned cold. "Human," the king said slowly, "do you understand what you are pointing at?" Aaron nodded once. "Yes." "That girl," the king continued, lower in his voice, "has been chained for 2 centuries. No one speaks to her. No one touches her. She is forgotten for a reason." Aaron did not look away. "I want her." The hall erupted with angry shouts. Priests collapsed to their knees, begging the king to refuse. Soldiers gripped their weapons tightly, ready to attack if needed. Even the nobles, who usually pretended to be calm, looked terrified. The king slammed his staff on the floor, and the room fell silent again. "Why her?" the king demanded. "Why choose a cursoner over gold, honor, and power?" Aaron took a slow breath. "Because she looks scared. She looks alive, and no living person deserves chains." The king's jaw tightened. No one had spoken like this in centuries. No one had dared question the chains. He studied Aaron for a long moment. "She is not a reward. She is a warning. Her existence is tied to an ancient secret. If she is freed, the old powers may awaken." Aaron's voice stayed calm. "Then I will deal with whatever awakens." The crowd burst into panic. Some shouted that the human was insane. Others screamed that the girl must never be touched. A few guards even raised their weapons, stepping forward to protect the king. But Aaron did not move from his spot. He kept his eyes on the girl. She slowly looked up for the first time in centuries. Her eyes met Aaron's. There was fear, but there was also something else, hope. A single tear rolled down her cheek, falling into the dust. Aaron stepped forward. The chains rattled softly, as if warning him, The king shouted, "Do not take another step." But Aaron did. He walked until he stood in front of the forgotten girl. The hall trembled with tension. Every alien held their breath. Aaron knelt beside her gently. "Can you hear me?" he whispered. Her voice was weak, cracked, and shaking. "Please, do not leave me here." And in that moment, Aaron knew he had already made his choice. He would not walk away. He would face whatever came next, even if the entire alien kingdom stood against him. The moment Aaron knelt beside the chained girl, a wave of panic spread through the entire hall. Aliens shouted warnings in fear. Soldiers stepped back as if the human had touched fire. Even the king turned pale, something no one in the kingdom had ever seen. The air grew heavy, almost sharp, like the world itself was holding its breath. Aaron lifted his hand slowly, trying not to startle the girl. She looked fragile, like a ghost trapped between life and death. Her long hair fell over her face, and chains bit into her thin wrists. She watched Aaron with caution, unable to understand why a stranger, especially a human, would come close to her. "Do not go near her," a priest screamed from behind. "She must not be touched." But Aaron ignored the voice. He kept his eyes on the girl, trying to show no fear. If she had been chained for 2 centuries, then fear must have been the only language she knew. Aaron spoke softly. "What is your name?" The girl blinked, confused. No one had asked her that question for generations. Her lips trembled as if trying to remember how to speak. At last, a whisper escaped. "Lyria." Aaron smiled gently. "Lyria, I'm Aaron. I'm here to help you." The guards instantly raised their weapons, pointing them at the human. "Step away from her." The lead guard shouted, "The chains must never be touched. They hold back the old curse." Another priest fell to his knees, covering his face with both hands. "Human, please listen. Those chains are not there for her safety. They keep the world safe from her." Aaron frowned but stayed calm. She looked scared, not dangerous. The priest shook his head. "That is what makes her dangerous." Before Aaron could speak again, the ground beneath Lyria's chains glowed with a faint blue light. A round symbol appeared under her feet, ancient and terrifying. The hall fell silent as everyone saw the pattern forming. "No," whispered one of the older nobles, "the seal of Eternum. It is waking." The king slammed his staff on the ground. "Aaron, move away from her this instant." But Aaron didn't move. He watched Lyria carefully. She didn't seem threatening. She wasn't glowing. She wasn't screaming. She wasn't trying to break free. She simply looked afraid, breathing fast as the glowing symbol grew brighter. "Lyria," Aaron said quietly, "are you hurt? Does this light hurt you?" She shook her head slowly. "It listens to the chains, not to me." "What does that mean?" Aaron asked, but she didn't answer. Instead, she pulled her knees closer to her chest, as if trying to make herself small. A cold wind blew through the hall, even though there were no windows. The fire lamps flickered violently. Many aliens covered their ears, because a strange humming sound filled the air, the sound of something old and angry awakening deep beneath the floor. Aaron placed a hand gently on Lyria's shoulder. She flinched as if touch was something she feared, but she didn't pull away. The king's voice thundered across the room. "Human, you do not understand what you are doing. The girl cannot be freed. Not now, not ever." Aaron looked up at him. "Then explain it to me. Why is she chained? What crime did she do?" The king's 4 eyes hardened. "Her existence itself is the crime." Those words made Lyria shut her eyes, as if the sentence had been repeated to her many times before. Aaron felt anger rising inside him. He had seen injustice in many worlds, but this felt different, older, deeper, almost personal. He stood up slowly. "King Wan said, your treasure means nothing to me. Your throne means nothing to me. But this girl, she's alive. She's suffering. I will not walk away. The king leaned forward. If you break one chain, the world will remember the curse she carries. Aaron asked again, what curse? The king finally spoke the words no one wanted to hear. She carries the echo of ages, the power to stir ancient forces. The reason? She has lived for 200 years without aging. She is not supposed to exist. Whispers filled the hall once more. Some aliens prayed. Others begged the king to end her life before disaster returned. Aaron shook his head firmly. She is a person, not a weapon, not a curse. Lyria's breathing grew unsteady. Tears slowly slid down her cheeks. For the first time, someone had spoken for her. Aaron turned back to her and reached for the glowing chain. The hall erupted. Guards shouted. Priests screamed. The king raised his staff to strike, but Aaron didn't stop. His fingers closed around the chain. It felt like touching ice and fire at the same time. A shock ran through his arm. Lyria gasped, terrified. The glowing symbol burst into bright light that shot across the hall, and the ancient hum beneath the floor grew louder. Aaron pulled the chain. A loud crack filled the hall. One of the chains fell to the ground. The seal under Lyria glowed like a rising sun, and the world itself seemed to shudder. The crack of the falling chain echoed through the hall like thunder. Dust rained from the ceiling. The glowing seal beneath Lyria brightened until it painted the walls with sharp blue light. Many aliens collapsed in fear. Others scrambled backward, tripping over each other in their desperate attempt to get away. Aaron stood beside Lyria, breathing hard. His arm still shook from the strange force inside the chain, but he didn't regret breaking it. Not even for a second. Lyria trembled, staring at the broken shackle around her wrist with wide eyes, as if she herself didn't believe it. For 200 years, the chains had been her world. Now one of them lay shattered on the floor. The king slammed his staff down, sending a shockwave across the room. Enough! The doors sealed themselves shut. The hall grew darker. The torches flickered weakly. Human, the king said in a cold, heavy tone, you have made the greatest mistake of your life. Aaron stepped in front of Lyria, shielding her with his body. Explain why. No more secrets. The king's 4 eyes burned with rage and fear. There is a reason she was forgotten, a reason her name was erased. You think she is a victim, but she is the reason thousands of my people died 2 centuries ago. Lyria's entire body froze. Her lips parted as if she wanted to speak, but only silence came out. Aaron narrowed his eyes. What do you mean? The king raised his hand, and an illusion formed in the air, an ancient memory. A battlefield appeared, filled with smoke and fire. A giant creature made of shadow and stone roared across the land, crushing alien warriors beneath its claws. The sky cracked with lightning. The world shook. And in the center of it all stood a young girl. Lyria. Her hair wild, her eyes glowing, her hands lifted as if trying to stop the creature. Aaron stared at the vision, shocked. She fought it? The king growled. She awakened it. And she failed to control it. The illusion faded, leaving the hall cold again. Lyria whispered weakly, I didn't mean to. The king turned on her. You brought ruin to our world. You are the reason the monster rose. Lyria shook her head quickly, tears falling faster. No, I tried to seal it. I tried to save everyone. No lies. The king roared. Aaron stepped forward, furious. She was a child in that memory. How can you blame her? The king slammed his staff again. Because she was born with the echo of ages, a cursed power that can twist time itself. She can summon ancient things. She can awaken sleeping horrors. She's a danger beyond anything you can imagine. Aaron didn't back down. So instead of helping her, you chained her? She is immortal because of the curse, the king said. She cannot age. She cannot die. She cannot sleep. If we let her walk free, she could trigger another disaster. Aaron shook his head. Or maybe she could fix it. The king stared at him silently. For the first time, there was doubt in his eyes. Aaron continued, "You said she awakened the beast. But maybe she didn't. Maybe she was the only one trying to stop it. Maybe she failed because she was alone." Lyria covered her face with both hands. She didn't want to hear the story again. It wasn't just guilt, it was pain older than cities. The king raised his staff again. "Your sympathy blinds you, human. We chained her to keep our world safe," Aaron replied. "And the beast, where is it now?" The hall fell silent. The king lowered his head. A deep rumble shook the floor. Everyone stared at the ground. The king whispered, "Sleeping beneath this city." Aaron's eyes widened. "So the seal under her is holding the beast back." The king nodded slowly. "Her chains do not imprison her, they imprison it." Aaron finally understood. Lyria's life had been used as a lock, a living seal. Aaron felt sick. "So you didn't just punish her, you sacrificed her." The king said nothing. Aaron turned back to Lyria. She looked even smaller now, hugging herself as if trying to disappear. She whispered, "I only wanted to help. I only wanted to stop the monster, and they chained me instead." Aaron placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone anymore." A final crack echoed out. Another chain snapped. The seal flared so bright that the aliens shielded their eyes. The king staggered backward. "What have you done?" Aaron lifted Lyria gently. "I'm freeing her," the king shouted. "You will doom us all." The hall trembled harder. The faint sound of a roar rose from somewhere deep underground. Lyria clung to Aaron, her voice shaking. "It's waking." Aaron tightened his grip on her. "Then we face it together." With the last chains ready to break, the truth hung in the air. The girl was never the monster, but freeing her might release the real one. The hall shook as if a giant hand had grabbed the world and squeezed. Blue light burst from the glowing seal beneath Lyria, climbing up the walls like fire. Every alien in the room screamed or ran for cover as the chains on her ankles and wrists rattled violently. The last two shone brighter than stars, resisting Aaron's touch like living metal. Aaron held Lyria close, trying to steady her. Her small body shook from fear, not from power. Her eyes were half closed, her breaths shallow. 200 years of draining magic had left her weak, so weak that even lifting her head seemed difficult. "Stay with me," Aaron whispered. Lyria tried to answer, but her voice broke into a quiet gasp. The glowing marks on her skin pulsed like a heartbeat. Every pulse sent a shockwave across the floor. The king stumbled back a step. "Human, stop this madness. The beast below is stirring. If the final chains break, the ancient horror will rise." Again, Aaron's jaw tightened. "Then why don't you tell me something useful like how to stop it?" The king glared at him. "You can't stop it. Only she could, and she failed once before." Lyria's eyes flickered open. "I didn't fail," she whispered. "I was betrayed." The room fell silent. Even the rumbling under the floor paused for a heartbeat, as if the world itself wanted to hear the truth. Aaron helped her sit up. "What do you mean?" Her voice trembled, but her words were clear. 200 years ago, I was not alone. I had allies, priests, warriors. I told them how to seal the beast properly, but when the moment came, they ran. They left me standing there alone. And the seal cost everything I had, the king growled. "Liar." Lyria's weak eyes met his. "You were the one who abandoned the battlefield first." A shocked gasp spread through the hall. The king raised his staff, fury burning in his gaze. "Human, you don't understand. She twists the truth. She always has." Aaron helped Lyria to her feet. She stood shakily, leaning her weight on him. She didn't look like a monster. She looked like someone who had been broken, blamed, and left to rot. Another tremor hit the hall. Dust fell from the ceiling. A deep roar echoed from below, closer now, louder, angrier. Aaron steadied himself. If the beast rises now, this whole city will be destroyed. So instead of shouting, "Help us stop it," the king shook his head. Only. The living seal kept it quiet. Break the chains, and nothing can stop the awakening. Lyria clutched Aaron's arm. He's right. Part of him is right. The chains kept the monster asleep. But they also stole my strength. I'm too weak to face it now. Aaron turned to her. Then I'll carry you. I'll protect you. You don't need to face it alone. Lyria stared at him for a long moment, confused by his courage, confused by the kindness she had not seen in 2 centuries. Her voice cracked. Why would you help someone like me? Aaron tightened his hold. Because someone should have helped you a long time ago. The ground split open behind them, sending cracks racing across the floor. A massive claw made of dark stone pushed through. The hall erupted in chaos as aliens screamed and ran. The beast was coming. Aaron lifted Lyria into his arms. She felt light, almost weightless. She wrapped her arms weakly around his neck, too tired to do anything else. We need to get out, Aaron said. The king shouted orders. Guards rushed to the exits. But the doors were shaking violently, blocked by falling debris. There was no easy escape. A giant head forced its way through the crack in the floor, glowing eyes, sharp ridges, and a roar that shattered crystal pillars. The beast rose slowly, its massive body pushing aside stone like sand. Aaron turned toward the only path still open, a narrow tunnel behind the throne. Hold on, he told Lyria. The beast roared again, causing the hall to collapse around them. Aaron ran. Broken stone fell behind him, missing him by inches. Lyria buried her face in his chest, trembling. As Aaron reached the tunnel entrance, he looked back at the crumbling hall. The king stood on the far platform, staring at Lyria, not with anger now but with fear. Actual fear. He whispered something Aaron could barely hear. If she dies, we all die. Aaron ran faster. The beast climbed fully out of the floor, shaking the entire city with each movement. Its roar echoed through every wall, every street, every home above. Lyria lifted her head slightly and whispered, Aaron? The seal, I can fix it, but not here. We must reach the ancient pillar. Where is it? Aaron asked. Outside the city. In the old ruins. Aaron nodded and tightened his grip. Behind him, the beast broke through the hall with a final deafening roar. The darkness had awakened, but so had Lyria. Aaron burst out of the collapsing throne hall and into the cold night air, carrying Lyria tightly in his arms. Behind them, the palace shook violently as the awakened beast roared, its voice echoing across the entire alien city. Windows shattered. Towers trembled. Sirens began to stream across the high walls. Lyria's weak fingers clung to Aaron's shirt. She tried to lift her head, but exhaustion dragged her down again. Aaron, the beast is searching for the seal, she whispered. It wants what was taken from it. Me. Aaron gripped her closer. Then we keep moving. You're not falling into its claws. Alien guards raced through the streets, shouting warnings. Strange lights flashed in the sky as flying patrols circled overhead. Massive horns filled the city with a deep, shaking vibration. The whole kingdom knew the ancient monster had returned, and they knew who had set it free. Aaron didn't slow down. His boots slammed against the stone road as he dashed into a narrow alleyway. Tall alien towers cast long shadows over them. Lyria trembled in his arms, her skin glowing faintly as the magic inside her responded to the beast's awakening. You're burning up, Aaron murmured. It's the beast, she whispered. Its energy is calling me, trying to drag me back. Not happening. Aaron said firmly. Not while I'm breathing. Suddenly, a sharp whistle cut through the air. A squad of alien soldiers dropped into the alley ahead of him, blocking the way. Their armor glowed with blue lines, their weapons pointed directly at Aaron. Human, the captain shouted. Put the cursed girl down and surrender. By royal command, you both are under arrest. Aaron tightened his grip on Lyria and stepped back. If you want her, you'll have to go through me. The guards hesitated. They weren't afraid of Aaron, they were terrified of Lyria. Some of them couldn't even meet her eyes. She is the reason the beast rises. One soldier shouted, Give her to us, and maybe the city will survive. Lyria shook her head weakly. If they take me back, the beast will still come. It never cared about the city. It wants freedom. Aaron stood tall. You heard her. Now step aside. The captain hesitated. Human, you cannot fight the Empire. Aaron's voice was calm but cold. I don't need to fight the Empire. I just need to protect her. Before the guards could act, the ground shook violently again. Stones cracked under their feet. A massive roar sounded from behind the buildings. Shadows stretched across the alley as the colossal beast moved closer. The soldiers looked toward the noise, and that moment of distraction was enough. Aaron sprinted toward the narrow passage on his left, dodging the soldiers. They shouted and scrambled to follow, but Aaron moved like lightning. He knew how to outrun enemies. He had done it on 1,000 battlefields. Lyria held onto him tightly, her breath shaking. Aaron, there's a safe path. Behind the lower market, toward the old ruins. Aaron nodded. Just tell me the way. They ran through twisting streets, slipping past panicked crowds. Families rushed into underground shelters. Tower alarms flashed red. Alien children cried as soldiers pushed them toward safety. Above them, the roof shook again. A large stone fell from a tower, smashing into the road behind Aaron. He didn't look back, but the Empire did not stop hunting him. A group of elite hunters appeared on the rooftops. They wore black armor with glowing red marks, royal shadow. Hunters feared across the galaxy. They moved silently like ghosts. One jumped down in front of Aaron, blades drawn. He was fast, far faster than the normal guards. His voice was cold. Human, give us the girl. Aaron shifted Lyria in his arms. Not happening. The hunter rushed forward with terrifying speed. Aaron barely dodged the first strike. The second slash cut across his sleeve. The third would have gone deeper, but Lyria lifted a weak hand. A small pulse of blue light pushed the hunter back. She gasped, collapsing in Aaron's arms. I can't do that again. Aaron stepped over her protectively. You don't need to. The hunter rose to attack again, but someone else landed between them. A massive alien warrior with dark armor and glowing scars. He raised his weapon toward the shadow hunter. Stand down. The newcomer said, The girl is not the monster. The king lied. Aaron stared at him. Why help us? The warrior looked at Lyria. Because I was there 200 years ago. I saw the truth. She tried to save us. We were the cowards. Lyria's eyes widened. With shock, she recognized him. Aaron nodded. Then help me get her to the ancient pillar. The warrior stepped forward. Follow me. The city hunts you. But not all of us have forgotten who the real enemy is. Behind them, the beast roared again, louder, closer, furious. The Empire hunted them. The monster hunted them. The world trembled. And Aaron tightened his hold on Lyria, ready for whatever came next. The ancient warrior led Aaron and Lyria through a narrow, stone passage that ran beneath the city. The walls were cracked from the monster's awakening, and dust drifted down with every distant roar. Torches flickered weakly along the tunnel, making their shadows stretch long across the ground. Lyria rested weakly in Aaron's arms. Her breathing was shallow, her skin glowing faintly as though her energy was leaking away. Every few steps, her Head fell against Aaron's chest, but she forced herself awake again. Aaron held her tighter. "Save your strength. We're getting you to that pillar." The warrior moved ahead, his deep voice echoing. "The ancient pillar is outside the city, past the lower gate. Once we reach it, maybe she can restore the seal. Maybe?" Aaron asked sharply. The warrior didn't stop walking. "No one has ever repaired it. 200 years ago, she was the only one who could even try." Lyria's weak voice rose. "And I failed because I was alone." Aaron looked down at her. "This time you're not alone." A violent tremor shook the tunnel. Rocks fell from the ceiling. A deafening roar echoed from above, stronger than before. The warrior stopped and pressed a hand against the wall. "It's above us," he whispered. "The beast has climbed out of the palace. It's moving through the city." Aaron felt the ground tremble under his feet. The monster was huge, larger than any creature he had fought in his life. Its footsteps alone made the entire tunnel shake like a toy. The warrior turned toward them. "We must hurry." He broke into a run. Aaron followed, holding Lyria carefully. The tunnel grew darker and narrower as they rushed deeper underground. Ahead, a faint blue glow appeared, the exit that led toward the lower gate. But just as they reached the last bend, a massive crash shook the earth. The ceiling split open above them. Stones exploded downward. Aaron shielded Lyria with his body as debris rained around them. The warrior shouted, "Move!" A huge claw burst through the ceiling, tearing open the stone like paper. Dust exploded into the air. Aaron coughed, struggling to keep his footing. Above them, through the hole in the tunnel roof, the beast's enormous head came into view. Its glowing eyes scanned the darkness. Lyria gasped. "It senses me. It always did." The monster roared directly into the hole. The sound was so powerful that Aaron felt it in his bones. The warrior pushed both of them aside as a massive claw slammed down, crushing the tunnel floor. "We cannot fight it here," the warrior shouted. Aaron grabbed Lyria and sprinted after him. The beast slammed its claws through the opening again and again, chasing them underground. Each strike shook the walls violently, threatening to bury them alive. Aaron stumbled, but didn't fall. Every instinct in him screamed to run faster. After several breathless moments, they finally burst into an open chamber, the lower gate vault. The ancient metal door ahead was cracked from earlier attacks but still stood strong. The warrior turned back. "Help me open it." Aaron placed Lyria against the wall gently. She tried to stand, but her legs failed. Her hands shook as she pressed them against the stone. The warrior and Aaron pushed the gate together. The ancient metal groaned painfully. Dust scraped from the hinges. Slowly, too slowly, it began to move, but behind them, the beast slammed its claws into the tunnel again. The wall cracked. A fang poked through. It wouldn't take long for the monster to break in. Lyria raised her hand weakly. A faint glow spread around her fingers. She whispered, "I can help, but I need to stand." Aaron rushed to her side, lifting her carefully so she could lean against him. She pressed her glowing hand against the gate. A soft blue ripple spread across the ancient metal, filling the cracks with light. The door responded to her touch, the same girl it once obeyed centuries ago. The ancient gate shook, then slid open completely. Without wasting a second, the warrior stepped through first. Aaron carried Lyria out into the cold night air. Behind them, the beast roared loudly enough to shake the mountains. The gate fell shut behind them just as a giant claw slammed into it from the other side. Aaron didn't wait. "Where to now?" he asked, turning to the warrior. The warrior pointed toward the distant dark hills. "The ancient pillar lies in the ruins beyond those mountains. If she can reach it, she can bind the beast again." Lyria leaned her head against Aaron's chest. "Don't know if I have the strength." Aaron looked into her tired eyes. Then I'll give you mine." The warrior glanced at the shaking city walls behind them. "The beast will not stay. Trapped for long, we must move." Aaron nodded firmly. Lyria closed her eyes, holding onto him as if he were her last anchor. The monster was breaking free. The world was shaking. And the final chance to save everything lay in the ruins ahead. Aaron ran across the dark valley with Lyria held close to his chest. Behind him, the ruined city shook as the awakened beast crushed towers, roared at the sky, and tore open streets in rage. The ancient warrior kept pace beside him, guiding the way through forgotten paths and broken stone arches. The night wind howled, carrying the monster's cries across the mountains. Lyria's head rested against Aaron's shoulder. Her breath was weak, slow, uneven. She wasn't just exhausted, she was fading. The glowing marks on her arms flickered like dying embers. Every time the beast roared, her body shook as if the sound was pulling the life out of her. "Hold on," Aaron whispered. "We're close." Lyria barely parted her lips. "I don't know if I can." "Yes, you can," Aaron said firmly. "Not alone, but with me." Ahead, in the distance, he finally saw a tall, ancient stone pillar rising from the broken ground. It looked cracked and old, but it glowed faintly with the same blue light that had surrounded Lyria's chains. The pillar hummed with forgotten power, waiting for the one girl whose energy once touched it. The warrior pointed. "That is the place, the seal of Eternum, if she can reach it. She can bind the beast again." Aaron tightened his grip. "We're not stopping." But the ground beneath them trembled violently and split open behind them. The beast was close. Its massive head rose over the hill. Glowing eyes locked on Lyria. Its roar shook the air so hard Aaron nearly stumbled. The warrior raised his weapon. But Aaron shouted, "Keep moving. We can't fight it out here." The warrior nodded and sprinted ahead. Aaron's heart pounded as he reached the base of the ancient pillar. The stone glowed brighter as he approached. Recognizing Lyria's presence, he laid her gently on the platform at its base. She winced, pain shooting through her body. "I can't stand," she whispered. "I'll lift you," Aaron said. The pillar hummed louder, reacting to her fading energy. It wanted her. It needed her. The beast's shadow stretched across the ruins. It stepped onto the cracked stones, towering above everything. Its skin glowed with molten lines, and smoke poured from its jaws. With a roar, it charged. Aaron grabbed Lyria's hands and pulled her to her feet. Her legs trembled like thin branches in a storm. "You can do this," Aaron whispered. She shook her head. "I'm not strong anymore." "You don't need to be strong," Aaron said. "Just hold on to me." The beast leaped toward them. The earth split. Stones flew into the air. Lyria pressed her palms against the pillar. A blast of blue light shot upward, striking the sky. The entire world flashed, but Lyria collapsed instantly too. Weak to continue, the light dimmed. The beast roared in victory. Aaron caught her before she hit the ground. "Lyria, stay with me." She opened her eyes weakly. "Aaron, I can't do it alone." "Then you won't," he said. He stood and placed his own hands on the pillar right beside hers. A shockwave blasted through him. It felt like fire rushing under his skin. His body shook violently, but he refused to let go. Lyria looked up at him in disbelief. "Aaron, no human can survive the seal." He gritted his teeth. "Maybe not, but I'm not letting you die." Alone, their energies touched the pillar together. Lyria's flickering blue glow joined Aaron's life force, bright, strong, human. A beam of white-blue light erupted upward. Stronger than before, the beast froze mid-charge, roaring in pain. As glowing lines wrapped around its body like chains made of pure energy, Lyria's voice rose weakly. "Aaron, don't let go." "I won't," he said. The light grew brighter. The beast thrashed violently, shaking mountains. Its claws tore the earth, but the seal held it tighter. pulling it downward toward the ground where it belonged. Aaron felt his strength fading, his vision blurred. His legs trembled. But he held Lyria's hands tightly, refusing to release her. The pillar cracked. The sky lit up. One final roar shook the world. Then everything went silent. The beast was gone, sealed beneath the earth. The light faded slowly. Aaron collapsed too. His knees, gasping for breath. His hands were shaking. His vision spun. But Lyria was glowing softly. Her face looked peaceful for the first time in centuries. Her eyes opened gently, filled with tears that were not from pain, but from pure relief. "You saved me," she whispered. Aaron touched her cheek. "No, we saved each other." The ancient warrior approached them and bowed deeply. "The kingdom owes its life to you both. The truth will be known. She was never the monster." Lyria leaned into Aaron's arms. After 200 years of fear and loneliness, she finally felt safe. Aaron lifted her easily. "Let's go home." High above them, the night sky glowed softly, free from the shadow of the ancient beast. The forgotten girl was forgotten. No more. And the human who chose her over gold became the hero who changed a kingdom forever.